time beast, its leader, and its physical and spiritual base. Brother Simon will go into far greater detail today and tomorrow. But let's look at a few things, as I don't want to eat too much into his precious time. Amen. Amen. And remember, guys, as our visitors come in and people coming late, B'nai Yeshua Synagogue folks, please slide to the front, slide over. I see empty seats, 4 here, 3 there, 5 there. We really need to be very considerate because a lot of people are coming to receive what you have to receive. Let's talk a little bit about history. Hanukkah is about remembering the overcoming of the pagan tyrant, Antiochus Epiphanes, who came to Israel from part of Greece, the former Greek Empire, or the quadrant, the fourth, that later became the Seleucid Empire. What was the crime of Antiochus Epiphanes, Antiochus? His crime before Yahweh of hosts was the committing of the abomination of desolation. Are you with me?
Yes. Amen.
He committed the historical abomination of desolation by doing the following. We remember Hanukkah for this reason. First, he forbid the study of Torah at the loss of life and limb. Second, he forbid the circumcision of Israelite babies at the loss of life and limb. Third, he forced Israel into a Hellenization program designed to apply genocide or the elimination of the people of Israel through assimilation and conversion to a pagan culture. But that was not the abomination of desolation. The abomination of desolation was he entered the Kadosh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies. And in the nostrils of Almighty Yahweh, sacrificed a pig to his deity, Zeus. We find history repeating itself in 70 CE. Hanukkah took place in approximately 140, 145 BCE. Then we fast forward 200 years, approximately, to the time of the Roman conquest of Jerusalem. The Roman conquest of Jerusalem was led by a general named Titus, who came to the Temple Mount seeking to destroy the Israelite Jewish presence from the Temple Mount, doing the exact same thing Antiochus did. It wasn't enough for him to burn the temple to the ground and to destroy the city and the Kadosh people. He again boasted and prided himself in the establishment of Mercury, also known as Zeus, in the place of Yahweh, seated on the Holy of Holies. Understand that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. There are 2 thrones on this earth. One is the throne of S period, A period, Tam. Good Tamara. And the other is the throne of Yahweh. And you say, wait a second, 1 Peter 5, 7 and 8 says, the devil like a roaring lion roameth about around the earth, seeking whom he may devour. Yes, that's true. He roams, but after he roams, he goes home.
Right.
And according to Revelation 2, we'll talk about that later, his home is in a place called Pergamos. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh. But Yahweh didn't allow the temple to remain defiled. Yahweh raised up a Kadosh family of Kohanim, led by the Kohen Mattathias, and his sons, the Maccabees, the acronym Maccabees coming from Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Yahweh. The acronym Micha Mocha Ba'elim Yahweh, and they became known as the hammer, or the hammer of the hand of Yahweh. And through this military uprising, not only military uprising, leaning on the hand of Yahweh for direction, protection, counsel, and ultimately victory over the forces of the Greek-Syrian Empire. They threw Zeus out of the Kadosh HaKadoshim, and they established the sweet fragrance of Yahwistic worship back in the temple. That's what Hanukkah is all about. It's not the Jewish Christmas. If you're coming from the WMCU listening audience, and you're here today joining us, all right, we've been waiting for you. And we're happy you're here. But it's more than that. It is the removal. The reason we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days is to remember that Yahweh raised up a band of faithful Kohanim to remove the abomination of desolation from the Temple Mount. I assume that means you approve. Then Yahweh sent the Roman Emperor, allowed the Roman Emperor Titus to do the same thing. Titus came. The question is, where did Titus come from? You got it. If you said the former Greek Seleucid quadrant of Alexander's empire, you are correct. Titus, listen. Titus invaded Jerusalem in 70 CE with the armies to destroy Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. Isn't that an abomination of desolation? Antiochus came to get rid of Yahweh through false paganism. Titus came to get rid of Yahweh to establish the Caesar of Rome as Yahweh. And in order to establish Caesar as Yahweh, he had to destroy the temple and the Kadosh HaKadoshim and the place where Yahweh dwelt. Any of this make sense? Yes. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. It is no coincidence, brothers and sisters, that Titus launched what history tells us is Legion Ex Fretenses. I assume that's Latin, even though I don't speak Latin very well. He launched Legion Ex Fretenses, composed of the following fighting units. And I hope I can pronounce this right. Thracum Syriaca, Cohort Thracia, Syria Ulpia Patrorium, and lastly, Cohort Arabia. These were Syrian, Greco-Roman units. The Romans, as we know, took over the entire Greek Empire. So these were Romans who were in cahoots with the Syrian Greeks, the same Syrian Greeks that invaded Jerusalem in 150 BCE in the days that we memorialize and remember today as the days of Hanukkah. Titus came from the same place to accomplish the same reason, to erase the name of Yahweh. See, the devil knows it's not enough to erase the name of Yahweh. In order to establish paganism, and in order to establish Islam, and in order to establish Allah as the king of Jerusalem, you have to erase the memory, the worship, the sanctification, and the lifting up of the true Elohim of Israel. So the same anti-Mashiach spirit that worked in Antiochus Epiphanes is the same anti-Mashiach spirit that worked in Titus, and it's the same spirit that is safely lodged today on Har Moriah, Mount Moriah. That's right. The anti-Mashiach will come, brothers and sisters. He will come. Don't pray about it. That's right. There's nothing to pray about. Right. He's coming. But he's coming from the same place. Turkey, where the Seleucid Empire was located, where Titus came from, with his legion ex fretinces. He's coming from Turkey, where Antiochus came from, where Titus came from, both who had set up the abomination of desolation. And are these my words? No. For if they were, you would be advised not to believe a one of these words. These are the words of the Navi, the prophet Daniel. Daniel said it, I believe it, and that settles it. And if I didn't believe it, it's still settled forever in heaven. Thy word, O Yahweh, is settled forever in heaven. Tadara by Yahweh. Daniel 7:6. Please turn there. Daniel 7:6. After this I looked, and there was another like a leopard. 4 beasts are being described. And I don't want to go into Simon's great seminar that he has prepared, so I'm going to touch. I'm not going to digest, I'm simply going to touch. All right? You'll allow me to just touch these things. 4 different heads described in Daniel chapter 7. They represent 4 empires. The first 2 empires are easy. Babylon and Medo-Persia. The third empire, like a leopard, is metaphoric and symbolic of Greece. And we see in Daniel 7:6, it says, from the leopard came 4 different heads. Let me sit down, because I'm only 1 year after a hip replacement. So I ain't pushing it for nothing. Are you with me? From the leopard, let's change that. From Babylon comes Medo-Persia. From Medo-Persia comes Greece. From Greece comes 4 heads. Alexander dies early in life, prematurely. That's the leopard kingdom, the Greek kingdom. And from the leopard comes not 1, not 2, but 4 different heads. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh. History tells us that these are the 4 quadrants or areas that inherited Alexander's kingdom, his 4 leading what? General. His 4 leading what? Generals. Now, the Greek Empire was then divided into 4 empires. One of those empires is where Antiochus came from 150 years later, where Titus came from, and where the anti-Messiah will come from, because history always repeats itself. Those who do not learn from history are condemned to repeat it. It doesn't matter what Hal Lindsey and Jack Van Impe said. Do you want the words of Daniel and John the Revelator, Yeshua through John, or do you want the words of the latest programming? You're going to have to hunger and thirst after righteousness, and then you'll be filled. Tadara by Yahweh. The Greek Empire was from Turkey all the way east. Turn to your neighbor and say east. Let's try that again. Eastward. The empire of Alexander, before it was divided among how many? 4 Roman generals, was all the way from Turkey, modern day Turkey, all the way eastward to Pakistan. Our friend Simon was born in Pakistan. He has a heart for Pakistan. He loves the people of Pakistan. He's going to be going soon, and very soon, to build Bnei Yeshua Synagogue of Pakistan. All right. No wonder the devil's angry. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So Alexander's empire was from Turkey eastward to Pakistan, not Western Europe, Paris, Germany. No, it did not extend that way. Rather, it extended eastward, not Western Europe. Look it up. Yeah. Alexander never went west. He went east. His 4 generals took the divided empire, and from the eastern quadrant, not only from the eastern quadrant, listen, from the northeastern quadrant, we'll talk about that in a few minutes, will come the anti-Mashiach from the northeastern quadrant. Now go to verse 7. Daniel 7:7. After this understanding of 4 generals, coming from the leopard empire, the Greek Alexander the Great's empire, I saw again in the night visions. And behold, a 4th beast, dreadful, terrible, exceedingly strong. The 4th beast, brothers and sisters, comes from one of the 4 quadrants of Alexander's empire, and the 4th beast is dreadful and strong. Unlike the other beasts, he doesn't come to establish order and dominion and authority. He comes only with strength to steal, kill, destroy, and devour. The reason the end-time Islamic beast is unlike any other beast, its only agenda is to kill or be killed for Allah.
That's right.
The Quran says the greatest glory is to kill or to be killed for Allah. Yeshua said, I have come that you may have peace, and that your peace may remain.
Amen.
He is the Sad Shalom, the Prince of Peace. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh. In the world you will have tribulation. Yochanan 16:33. In me you will have shalom. Fear not, al tira, for I have overcome the world. The 4th beast is Islam. But notice it shares the region of the eastern leg, not the European Western Roman leg of the Greek Empire. So we know it's going to come from Greece, but it's going to be an area of Greece limited to the east, not to the west. See, this makes sense? Watch this. In Daniel 8:9, let's jump down to 8:9. We are clear